When you tell me you want to lose weight, what you really mean is you want to lose fat and you want to maintain or even build muscle mass. If you're trying to put on size, I'm guessing you don't want to pay for it with a layer of fat and have to cut later on. See, these are two completely different biological problems. And when I mention body recomposition, I literally mean building the muscle and dropping the body fat at the same time. Yes, that's actually possible. You absolutely can do both at once. But weight loss and body comp are two different jobs for your physiology. Weight loss, just getting the scale to drop, that's what GLP-1 medications do, and they're phenomenal at it in most cases. Body recomp, fat decrease, muscle building at the same time, takes a completely different approach and different tools entirely. I'm Dr. Jones, DC, and I coach thousands of patients through peptide protocols, and this passion of mine comes from being that guy myself, doing everything right and still not cracking my own body composition goals. And now I work with our medical team, helping people like you do the exact same thing. So if you've been stacking peptides, listening to podcasts, Frankensteining together a protocol from Reddit, and you're not gaining like you want to, or you're still skinny fat, still can't gain the muscle back that you lost during your weight loss, still feel like the needle isn't moving, it's probably because you're solving the wrong problem with the wrong tools. What you actually need for body recomp isn't a list of peptides. In particular, 3 peptides working across 3 biological layers: the signal, the receiver, and fuel. I call it the body comp trinity. And here's what's going to surprise you. 2 of the 3, they don't actually build muscle and they don't burn fat either, but remove them and the third one runs at half capacity. One of them multiplies what the other is doing through a cellular mechanism that's in the research, but somehow hasn't broken into the Peptide podcast or Reddit stacking guides just quite yet, but I love it and it's actually one of my favorites. So let's start with the loudest layer first, the signal itself. Here's how I want you to think about this: 3 peptides, 3 layers of your biology. So if your main problem is the visceral fat, meaning the deep stuff wrapped around your organs, the kind that you can't pinch, tesamorelin is the premium pick. It's the only peptide in this conversation that's actually FDA approved, and it's approved for exactly that problem. More expensive, it's a single agent, and it works hard on the visceral fat job, specifically while stimulating muscle growth. For everyone else though, and that's most people, CJC combined with IPA is a default pick. Hands down the most flexible, and it's also the most cost effective when it comes to growth hormone peptides that is actually still pretty good. In our practice, we call CJC IPA the king of growth hormone peptides. And here's why. CJC is like the gas pedal. It tells your pituitary, that's the gland in your brain that controls hormonal release, to produce more growth hormone. Ipamorelin, it releases the brakes, so your body can use a signal called somatostatin to shut down growth hormone release. Ipamorelin bypasses that brake signal. Gas pedal pushed, brake released. Your pituitary fires louder pulses of growth hormone than it would on its own. And this is the thing that most people miss. We're not injecting actual growth hormone here. We're not doing HGH. We're using a peptide that tells your own pituitary to fire your own pulse of growth hormone, louder and more often than it normally would. And I know what some of you are thinking. Why not just take HGH directly? Wouldn't that be stronger? And here's why that's the wrong move. Injected HGH, meaning growth hormone from outside your body, suppresses your own pituitary. It's a flat artificial signal. It's got a broader side effect picture and a lot more expensive. CJC IPA keeps your system in charge. Okay, so quick pause. If what I just covered about using your own pituitary instead of bypassing it is starting to make you rethink what's actually in your current peptide stack, or you're running protocols from sources that you're not 100% confident in, this is why we offer free discovery calls where our patient educators can walk through your specific situation and help you figure out which programming and peptides that we can prescribe that are actually right for your goals. You can text number on the screen or check out the link in the description if you want to explore that. But first, let me show you the foundation that makes this entire first layer work, because without it, nothing else matters. So let's talk sleep. Growth hormone releases in pulses, and the biggest, cleanest pulse happens while you're in deep sleep, roughly 60 to 90 minutes after you fall asleep. If you're barely sleeping, that somatostatin brake typically stays stuck in the on position, and no amount of CJC, no amount of TESA is going to push past it. Remember, sleep is the foundation that makes this peptide work. That's non-negotiable. Now, one more reality check here. This isn't a steroid. No 2-week miracles. Real visible body comp changes, that's gonna take 2 to 3 months, maybe longer. Lean mass creeps in, the visceral fat slowly drops, sleep quality improves along the way, more growth hormone at night, that's the feedback loop. Okay, so that's the first layer right here. The signal is dialed in. But a louder signal only matters if the rest of your body is prepared to use it, which brings us to the second layer here, and this is where most peptide stacks go sideways. Okay, so we're gonna be talking about one of my favorites, MOTS-c. or MOTS-c for short. And I know what you're thinking. When I say MOTS-c, isn't that the mitochondrial peptide? What's it going to do on body comp? Because MOTS-c doesn't directly build muscle. It doesn't directly burn fat. But without it, neither of the other two peptides work the way that they're supposed to. So in the background here, so that you understand, MOTS-c is what's called a mitochondrial-derived peptide, meaning your own mitochondria, the energy factories inside of every cell, they produce it during exercise, which is exactly why they call it exercise in a bottle. See, when you use it, you're giving your cells a signal that they already know how to respond to. But the problem is, as you age, as your mitochondria get beat up, they stop producing enough of that signal. So what does MOTS-c actually do? It activates AMPK. So think of AMPK as the master metabolic switch in every cell. When AMPK is on, your cells burn fat instead of sugar. Your insulin sensitivity, meaning how well your cells respond to insulin, improves. Your mitochondria literally multiply. That's called mitochondrial biogenesis, which is a really fancy way of just saying that your cells start building more energy factories. And here's the reveal. This is why MOTS-c belongs on this list, because if your cells can't burn fat effectively, if your mitochondria are sluggish, your growth hormone peptides have nothing to work with. The pituitary fires a beautiful pulse, your tissues don't have the metabolic machinery to respond. Signals go out, nothing downstream happens. That's why MOTS-c is the metabolic floor. Without a floor, the signal is shouting at the room full of people who are already left the building. And there's a second job about MOTS-c, and what it's doing matters even more over time. It's rebuilding your insulin signaling, meaning your cells can respond better to insulin. They can use the fuel that you give them instead of shoveling it all into fat storage. The technical term for this adaptation is metabolic flexibility, meaning your body can switch between burning fat and burning sugar on demand based on what's available. Now, insulin-resistant bodies, meaning bodies where the cells have stopped responding effectively to insulin, they can't do that. They're stuck burning sugar. They're difficult for them to burn fat that you already have in storage, and that's why many people plateau when they're trying to lose weight. Their body has the fat, but there's no way to get into it. MOTS-c can help rebuild the machinery that lets your body actually tap into the stored fat, which is what makes this a good long-term fat loss tool. Not a short-term body recomp tool, but it certainly will help you recomp. Now, if that shift in how you think about MOTS-c just clicked for you, if you're starting to realize that you've been treating peptides like a shopping list instead of a system, then you need to hit that subscribe button right now, because we put out 2 peptide videos every single week. And be sure to turn on that bell. Okay, so now here's the piece that most peptide stacking guides miss. Fasting also activates AMPK too. It's one of the most potent AMPK activators out there. That's part of why fasting works so well for fat loss. So fasting and MOTS-c are hitting the same switch from different angles. They converge, which means if you're running MOTS-c without any fasting window, even a 12-hour to 14-hour daily eating window, you're using half the tool. And that's foundation number 2, some form of time-restricted eating. And if you want me to break down, by the way, the exact fasting protocols that we pair with MOTS-c, when to dose, how long to fast, how to not blunt the effect, let me know in the comments if that would be helpful to you, and I'll make that in one of our upcoming videos. But even with a loud signal and a prepared floor, there's still one problem. Your tissue has to actually listen. And this is where peptide number 3 comes in, the one that surprises people the most. The receiver here, BPC 157. So you've heard of it. Most people think of BPC as the healing peptide, part of the Wolverine stack, the BPC 157 and the TB500, which we've covered as a powerhouse for joint and tendon recovery. It's what athletes use to bounce back from injury, and yeah, it does all of that. That's not why it's on the list. Here's what BPC 157 actually does. The piece that the healing peptide videos and the Wolverine stack guides don't cover. It has actually 2 jobs here, and that matters. Job number 1 is the one you'd expect, the tissue repair. Promotes angiogenesis, meaning building new blood vessels, literally growing the network of capillaries that can deliver the nutrients and signaling molecules to your muscle tissues, to your joints, and that matters alone. Because everything that CJC and IPA is producing, everything that MOTS-c is activating, has to be delivered to the tissue through the circulation. So BPC 157 is building more roads to get the delivery trucks there. But job number 2 is the one that changes the whole game. Now, this is backed up by research in the scientific literature, but somehow hasn't broken really into the peptide stacking conversation, meaning it increases the number of receptors that actually receive the growth hormone signal. More receptors, and cell studies also show this means more response. And cell studies also show that when BPC 157 is already in the picture, the downstream response inside your cells is amplified as well. So in plain English, BPC makes your tissues listen louder to the growth hormone pulses that your CJC IPA is firing. So this is some really good synergy here. And here's why this changes everything. Most people running a growth hormone peptide alone, their tissue is half deaf to the signal. They see mild results, they get frustrated, they stack random stuff, they quit because it doesn't work. You add some BPC-157 as the amplifier, the same dose of CJC suddenly hits harder because your tissue is primed to respond. So now look at what we built here. The signal is loud, CJC-IPA is firing your own pituitary pulses, the fuel is ready right here, MOTS-c has built the metabolic machinery, and then the receiver is primed. BPC-157 has upregulated your growth hormone receptor so that your tissue actually respond to what the signal is producing. That's the body Comp Trinity. Locked in, 3 peptides, 3 layers, and 3 foundations. Okay, so quick honesty moment here. If someone asked you right now why most peptide stacks fail, could you actually answer that? It's not the peptides that people pick. They skip a layer, almost always the amplifier, and that's the whole game here. Okay, so now the foundation on this one is training. BPC-157 is fundamentally a recovery and repair peptide. It needs something to recover from. If you're not actually lifting, putting stress on your tissues, asking your body to build, there's nothing for BPC-157 to amplify the response to. Training is the foundation. And that's the third layer here. The Trinity is complete. Which brings us to the elephant in the room. What about the peptides that you expected to see? IGF-1, AOD, the GLP-1s? Because the answer to that question is the answer to why body Comp Trinity actually works as a system and most other stacks don't. Okay, so first up, IGF-1 LR3. IGF-1 is the downstream hormone that growth hormone triggers. So why not skip the pituitary and inject IGF-1 directly? Because it's a bad trade-off in my opinion. IGF-1 LR3 bypasses your pulsatile rhythm, prolonged, sustained elevation, and that's not how the body operates. And it carries a real hypoglycemic risk, meaning your blood sugar can crash to dangerous levels. The Trinity gives you the same IGF-1 elevation through your body's own regulated system. Okay, so next up, AOD 9604. It's a genuinely great peptide. It's a fat mobilizer, meaning it pulls stored fat out of your fat cells and it puts it in the bloodstream so that it can actually be burned. But here's the thing, AOD by itself doesn't create a calorie deficit. It just frees up the fat. And if there's no demand for that fat, that's just gonna get restored. So where does the AOD shine? Paired with a GLP-1 med. The GLP-1 suppresses the appetite and creates the calorie deficit. That's the demand. AOD frees up that fat to meet that demand. That's the supply. We call that pairing the metabolic two-piece. It's incredibly effective for weight loss, and it's the right stack for someone on a GLP-1 medication. But for body recomposition specifically, when you're training hard, you're eating enough to support muscle, and you're not running a deep calorie deficit, AOD isn't the best tool. Can't go wrong. But MOTS-c, it activates AMPK, it builds mitochondrial biogenesis, it rebuilds metabolic flexibility, it protects muscle, and it drives fat loss without depending on a deep calorie deficit. So AOD and MOTS-c, they're not competitors. They're just different tools for different scenarios. AOD for active weight loss on a GLP-1, MOTS-c for body recomp, completely complementary. I got something for you to do real quickly. Drop in the comments your current peptide stack. What are you running? What are you seeing? And where do you feel stuck? And I'll jump in with which of the 3 layers is most likely the missing one based on what we see with patients in our clinic. Okay, so this brings us to a big one, the GLP-1s. Honest answer, GLP-1s are phenomenal for weight loss. Semaglutide, tirzepatide, and the big boy retatrutide. Our medical team prescribes them every single day, and I coach thousands of patients through them. And I've seen what they do for people. They're some of the most powerful tools that we have for weight loss. But for body recomp, fat down, muscle up, at the same time, it's a different biological problem than just weight loss. GLP-1s solve the weight loss problem beautifully, and they can be used in a GLP-1 in a recomp stack, but they weren't necessarily built on their own to solve the body recomp problem. That's not a flaw here, that's a feature. So here's how this actually all fits together. Significant weight to lose, start with the GLP-1, possibly paired with AOD and Sloop 332, for example, as the metabolic two-piece. Lose the weight, and then the Trinity becomes the right tool. Already training hard, eating clean, you're a body Comp Trinity candidate. CJC, IPA, or TESA, MOTS-c, and BPC-157. Signal, receiver, fuel. Okay, last piece here. These are prescription peptides. You need a 503A pharmacy to access, meaning a legitimate compounding pharmacy, not a research chemical site pretending to be one. Physician oversight, which in our practice means our medical team handling the prescriptions and lab work and lab monitoring. IGF-1, fasted glucose, A1C, which is your 90-day blood sugar average. A full metabolic panel at baseline. No oversight is how people end up maybe hurting themselves. So here's where this leaves you. Whether you're somebody with a significant amount of weight to lose and need to figure out if a GLP-1 should come first, whether you're on a GLP-1 right now, you're plateauing and you're wondering if AOD and the metabolic two-piece is the move, or whether you've already dialed it in and just missing the amplifier layer. That conversation about which stack is actually right for you and your physiology and your goals is exactly what our free discovery calls are built for. You can text number on the screen or you can check out the link in the description and you'll connect with one of our patient educators who will walk through your history, what you've tried, what's worked and what hasn't, your long-term goals, and most importantly, what it's like to work with me, our coaches, and our medical team who handle the prescriptions. And then they're going to review programs and pricing so that you can see exactly what getting this right and keeping it right is going to look like long-term for you. Now, if you really are laser focused on the muscle building side of things, even more so than recomp, that's the video for you to watch there next. We'll see you guys later.